We talked last time about the three ends of soulful connection, those being nowness, noticing, and naming. Remember about really arriving in the present and the difference between being someone who is witnessing what you are experiencing right now, as opposed to being somebody who's totally identified with the content of what you're thinking about or your emotional story. That's nowness. And then noticing is really noticing, well, what is happening there? You know, oh, there's heat in my belly, or there's tightness in my jaws, or there's pressure behind my eyes, and then start to feeling drippy or whatever. Noticing what's actually happening right now in such a way as to experience it more fully. And then naming is being able not only to name that to yourself, but to name it out loud to other people in such a way that they can participate in that experience with you, and that you can experience your experience more fully by virtue of having it be shared. There's a way in which when you name something out loud, you experience it more. You may have been thinking about a memory or a dream all morning, and then in speaking it to somebody else, you have a sudden big bunch of feeling about it that you were not able to have by yourself. We're social beings. We inhabit a shared world. You know, I mean, our whole world is communally constructed. You know, language is a shared experience. So this time I want to say something more about naming and the skillful, what it looks like to name your own experience skillfully. And to do that, I want to talk about three kinds of language: physical language, emotional language, and mental language. Or we could call it gut language, heart language, and head language, because they serve different purposes and are good for different things, and yet we tend to use the wrong one for the wrong thing. Like, we'll be emotionally upset but using head language. Not a good strategy. Does not help. Neither the emotion is served, nor the mental language is not served. So I'm going to say something about those three kinds of language, and there's an overall principle, which is that it's useful to work your way from the bottom up. When people go around most of the time relating to each other, mostly we're in head language. That's what we talk in most of the time. The majority of our attention goes to head language. But whenever you can stop and notice, work your way from the bottom up. So, gut language or physical language, what is that? It's just like purely descriptive naming of things that you see, hear, or sense with your body. You know, like blue shirt, or, you know, the look on your face, or the high pitch of your voice, or yes, as descriptive and non-interpretive as possible. Not the you know, beautiful look on your face, because that's interpreting the look on the face, right? Even frown is more of an interpretation than the look on your face, right? It's more descriptive than beautiful look or angry look or whatever. But so physical language is the facts, as simply as you can name them. Now, anytime you use words, it is an interpretation. Just by virtue of saying your nose, I'm like artificially isolating this area of your face from the rest of your face, and it's an interpretation. But physical language is making that as simple as possible. And physical language is neutral. It's just sort of like there's no good or bad, there's no moral charge on it, there's not even any emotional content. It's just like a blue car, you know. Now, emotional language, on the other hand, is a little bit about the words you use, and it's a lot about your tone of voice and the look on your face and your body posture and all of that. Sometimes I call it dog language or 3-year-old language, because a dog can speak to you in emotional language and you get what they're talking about even though they have no words. I got it, right? I know how you're feeling. And, you know, people who wonder whether animals have feelings like ours are just silly as far as I'm concerned. So, that's just ridiculous. I mean, come on. Be real. So, emotional language is a lot about the tone of voice, the look on your face, the posture, the speed, all those things. Nonverbals. As far as the verbal content, it can include the physical language that we talked about, just the facts, include those, and use emotion words, simple emotion words, which are just low-level abstractions about what you notice in your body. Like emotions are right at the bottom, they're sensations in your body. That'd be physical language, right? I feel heat, tension in my face, whatever. That's physical language. Emotion language, you can include some simple interpretations about those feelings, like mad, sad, scared, disgusted, because those are sort of shorthand for a pattern of experience that we all recognize, that's familiar to us. We will find, if we look at it, that there's a lot of similarities between the kinds of sensations that people feel when they're mad, that different people feel when they're mad, or that different people feel when they're sad. So, the way that we've used it in here as sort of like a typical statement in emotional language would be like, I'm mad at you for the look on your face. So you're saying, mad is a feeling word, and physical language, the look on your face. There's no interpretations involved, there's no good, bad involved. But, as I say, when it's I'm mad at you for the look on your face, you do want to have congruent nonverbals. Congruent means it all goes together of a piece, right? Not like, I'm mad at you for the look on your face. It doesn't, it's like, what is that? It's what they call a mixed message, right? So good emotional language all goes together. I'm mad at you for the look on your face. I appreciate you for what you just said. The voice is soft and mellifluous. It's growly, right? It goes together. It makes sense. You'd be surprised how little that is often the case. How non-congruent, incongruent most of people's communications are. And you will be, as you start paying attention to that, you will notice that more and more.